Who better to be stuck with than your friend?
You're not my friend. All you've ever done is hold me back. And I'm the idiot for not seeing it until now.
Linger on.
I'm back, boys. What I have learned from my previous video is when these predators, or I would say most problematic human beings, said they're going to change, doesn't mean it can be proven, as they can easily manipulate others just to be on their good side, as they can do the same shit again and get away with it. As I mentioned in my journal post, I can assure you that I will not be falling into this kind of trap again. You have my word on it. Which, by the way, is going to be the main topic of this video, is going to be about. As you can tell by the title, the next person on my chopping block is Super Noah Ultimate, aka ItzNoahArc. This quote-unquote man has done some very sus and terrible behavior that deserves to be addressed, since some people aren't fully aware of it and needs to know the truth behind it. Although it may not be as serious as Stater X's, but good lord was it appalling. But it is worth going over nonetheless, since I'm facing values from the outsider's perspective. However, please note that I do not condone any sort of attacking, harassing, or witch hunting Noah by any means. This was meant for harsh criticism as well as calling him out. Now, if you're one of those people that comes to this video and defends Noah, please do so in the comments, or better yet, DM me on Discord, since I'll be looking forward to your simpy responses. But enough of that though, let's do this. Now, how do we introduce a person such as ItzNoahArc? Well, for starters, he is a very well-known Splatoon quote-unquote creator who makes Splatoon related content like Gary's Mod or nonetheless source filmmaker. He usually makes videos for voting different scenarios that relates to object shows that were mostly created by Animation Epic and its entire crew. From what I have dug up is cases of him taking full advantages of his followers for his own benefit and manipulating them to be on their good terms. In fact, there's a lot more than just his entire ego and cloud chasing in general. So let's start off with the basics, shall we?
Hey, what did you do? Outside the store? Is that... Whoa.
Valentine's Day. You know, when it comes to Splatsource, everyone is bound to be in a relationship, regardless of the age differences. So it all started when Noah posted his online Valentine Day featuring TR Chiggy on his DeviantArt page. Now, there's nothing wrong with it, right? Well, see, the problem is that a user by the name of DemonOcto3 called Noah out on Twitter that pretty much explains that he was trying to date with a 15-year-old. Keep in mind, Noah was 20 when he made that post. Seeing this is not only suspicious, but extremely creepy, given that the age consent in Australia is a major red flag. You know who else is a red flag? It's how you respond to it. My life is over. DemonOcto3 thinks I'm a pedo for dating a 15-year-old. I had enough. I blocked DemonOcto3 for posting this Twitter post about being a pedo. Just shut the fuck up, and don't you think I am stupid, pedo. I swear to God, if you do, I'm leaving this Splatoon community. Mr. Noah, I'm not entirely sure how the internet works for you, so allow me to give you a reality check.
Ooh, nobody gives a shit.
For real though, when people like Alex showcasing these accusations of trying to date a literal minor, you thought that the best outcome for you was to lash out at her and even sending death threats not only on Alex, but the ones you've heard. You've made the situation much worse by acting like a 5-year-old the moment you got caught in 4K 1080p 60 frames per second. Your entire discriminatory behavior and your recklessness overall is the main reason why people are cutting ties with you. Also, let's not forget about the fact that you've also faked your death. Twice. The first time you faked your death, you've also lashed out on someone who even showed everyone that specific screenshot. While I have been looking through this, I found some pretty interesting things during my own investigations from other individuals. One is that he actually favorited TR's bio, which by the way showed her age, and the second one by the name of Yoshi Dude released some pretty messed up shit that he pulled out the Theta Regrets move up in his ass. So these screenshots combined and doesn't really seem to help your case whatsoever, especially the response to it all have little to no remorse. So people are gonna have suspicions or even questions about it. Plus, making these kinds of posters just to grab sympathy isn't gonna help you anymore, since the actions that you've done are unforgivable. Later on though, TR Chiggy steps in as she confronts Noah about the situation. The reason why he made that poster to begin with is due to the fact that Darcy, which is Noah's outdated OC, broke up with him. What the fuck? This right here takes the cake. A prime example of how insanely corrupted Splatsource is. Imagine going out of your way by getting yourself into a legal action, all because of your fictional character have broken up with you. That has to be one of the most idiotic and yet pathetic excuses I've ever witnessed. And speaking of such, it's also really pathetic that you have to use your parents and even your disability to even justify your actions. Using autism or any kind of disability just to make up this action is absolutely unjustified and offensive to those with it. I myself have autism as well, and ADHD on top of it, and I've done something that I shouldn't have done. You don't see me using this as an excuse. Now, as for CH Lane herself, who is the victim, despite these posters that Noone made, I can't really say that they're either friendly or just kind of a bit flirty. I mean, regardless, there's not really much to say about this anymore, since CH Lane herself is incredible enough to tell her by her real age. Yes, you heard me correctly, she's a female. However, just want to make this very clear. Just because that she's the victim of the situation doesn't mean that she's innocent. Link to the video by Blaze for context though. But as of now, as I'm recording this, there's nothing to be said about this situation. Before we go on to the next topic, I've interviewed one of Noah's in real life friends who I wanted to remain anonymous, strictly because that the interviewer did agree that Noah deserves another chance, and hopefully once the interviewer watches this video, it will come to her senses in her own conclusions, hopefully. So here's our interview went.
Okay, first question, when you say that you know who Noah is, what's your entire background from him?
Well, as you already know, I've known Noah since middle school. Noah was nice, caring, sweet, but he did have a short temper at times. As he got older, his anger got worse, but I always forgave him when he snapped at me because I am just a forgiving person.
So, pretty much you are his IRL friend, is that correct?
Yes, his IRL friend, ex-girlfriend.
I see. So, how was your relationship was like with him when you guys started dating?
Our relationship was great. Noah treated me well and was never mean to me.
At least nothing negative happens between that relationship. And, since you've said that you're his ex, what was your intention of breaking up that relationship?
Well, a part of the breakup was because I just fell in love at an early age. I was 12, he was 14. I had to break it off because I just didn't feel in love with Noah anymore. The spark was just gone. The other part, I'm not comfortable explaining the other part, but Noah wasn't any of the reasons why I broke up with him.
Now, at that time, how did Noah react about the breakup? Did he got upset?
No, Noah didn't get upset.
So, he's basically fine with it.
Yes, he was. We haven't been dating since 2018.
I see. So, way before that incident, what was your full experience from him recently?
Well, we haven't talked much recently. But he was upset about not having a Valentine.
Yeah. And when he posted his Valentine date on his DAR, who is minor, how does it make you feel that he was caught doing something like this?
I feel disgusted, disappointed, but I mostly feel sad. I didn't think anything of it because I never saw that girl before. How was I supposed to know how old she was? I don't know much about Noah's other friends. But when I found out, I felt sick, and I almost cried the entire day. But even though I don't support his actions at all, I would never want Noah to hurt himself.
I don't blame ya. So, with all of his allegations and evidences against him, do you believe Noah deserves another chance or any chance of changing?
Okay, so this is going to be unscripted. Just a heads up that I will be using another response that this anonymous user answered, just in case that Noah, because there's like a more of a chance that he hasn't changed. But however, just keep that in mind because I'm gonna actually prove it to you that he hasn't changed, so keep that in mind.
Well, I would really like to help him understand what he did was wrong, but I'm not good with this type of stuff. I say maybe, but that's if he can show he's truly sorry for what he did. I plan on calling his mother later. She sees me as a daughter, so I have her phone number, and I plan on telling her what happened with Noah. A lot of my friends are telling me to let go of him, but I'm scared to let go of him. It's hard for me because he's been in my life for 7 years. I hate pedophilia with a burning passion because it's absolutely disgusting, but this is a different case. I still think that the old Noah is in there, but a part of me fears that he's too far gone. Yes, I do think that Noah deserves forgiveness. I've known Noah for 7 years. I know that he would never do anything like this. Yes, the thing was bizarre, but it's not like he made out with her or anything like that. They were only talking to each other in the end. Noah isn't a pedophile. You can ask me that multiple times, and I will say no. To Ellie, Noah didn't reply to you because as soon as he found out you were 15, he wasn't comfortable with talking to you. It was a mistake that he has made.
Now, I really don't want to give any hate to this interviewer since they know Noah as much as I have, but I'm going to speak from the heart and just straight up facts. There's a huge difference between getting caught online and in real life. You see, the internet is a place where people can just easily lie about almost everything, and they would just believe it. Many of us have higher suspicions that people like Noah can fuck up again. So really, it doesn't matter that he has anger issues. And even if that's the case that he has anger issues, that's something that he needs to be controlled and not be taken advantage of, since it is a gateway for trolls on the internet to target yourself as. Now, as scary and sad as it is the truth. I'm sorry, but it really doesn't excuse the fact that you know him for a long time and have these problems that you mentioned, because at the end of the day, he still did them. The best thing that he can do from now on is to own up and move on from it. Problem solved. After the entire aftermath of Noah's career being ended, he deleted his YouTube channel along with his social medias and rebranded himself from Super Noah Ultimate to ItzNoahArc. Not even surprised to say the least. Now, to be fair, I think that all of the necessary backlashes that Noah received is without a doubt deserved, as I believe that his true color states the following: egotistical, hypocrisy, and just overall damage control. Normally, I would probably end it off there, but you know how these videos work. Now, aside from more manipulation, Noah is not a big fan of being criticized, let me tell ya. He'll ignore any advices that was given to him. Hell, he'll even go as far as abusing his supporters to attack those who are trying to help him out to improve his actions/behavior, and even criticizing him since he deemed it harassment. I really don't have to explain this like every time, since most of you all can just get the hint of it. You let your pathetic simps attack those who have common sense and realize that you're a disgusting human being, which is basically adding more fuel to the fire of the situation. You have no authority to tell LK Gaming and Alex what they can or cannot do. They're allowed to do whatever the hell they want. Yeah, they may be a little bit toxic about it, but at least they're showing some legit proof and evidence showcasing the actions that you, Noah, have done. So it's not their fault that they have tried to call you out, all because that you did this to yourself. You even tried your literal hardest to get your friends who left you to stay by your side at all times, which is a scummy thing to do. Honestly, why should I be friends with someone who doesn't want to listen or take in like any advice like I ask them to? If they're not going to prove and just act mature about it, then just what's even a point of associating with him? Well, one answer to that: attention seeking. Like Mini Excalibur said on his El Gadelio video on her, there are two types of attention: positive and negative. Noah only wants positive attention. These videos, including this one in particular, are all negative. But you don't want to admit that you did something bad. You just wanted everyone to just forgive and forget that you made multiple mistakes. Like I said before, people in the Splat Source community doesn't deserve another chance since they can easily fuck up again. I wanted to go full circle on this guy just to prove that statement. Forgive and forget. You see, Noah is very familiar with manipulation and gold tripping people into forgiving situations, even though what he did is considered a felony and extremely messed up. He'll try to DM you and do whatever he can to forcefully support him. Yeah, no, that doesn't work like that, Noah. You can't just tell people who left you to just forgive and forget situations. Especially what you did is, well, not going to repeat myself, but you get the hint. So here's the deal, Noah. Let them decide. Let them think what they say goes on the matter, independently, with no remorse at all. If you are genuinely serious that you wanted your friends back, then it is mandatory to improve your actions and just be a normal human being for once, and not making some weird posters about fetishes and such shit. However, not everyone is going to forgive and forget. Like I mentioned on the ThetaX video, people can still remember of who you are today, regardless of the name change difference, since they'll warn others about you, and whatever you like or not, that's something you're gonna have to accept. If they wanted to support you, Noah, it's their choice. However, if they reject your support as they found out the truth behind you and realize how much of a disgusting human being you are, again, it's their choice. Stop trying to force people into believing that they think they're going to choose your own goddamn side. Give them some personal space and think for once. Holding them back will just make you look incredibly selfish, as you aren't doing yourself any favors as breaking their boundaries, pushing them into harassment if this continues on. You know, I wouldn't have been so surprised that CH Lane is still connected with Noah, since she basically wants to be drama free so people can't criticize or how bad her content is. No hate to CH Lane, but seriously, despite being as polite as they can be. And speaking of drama free, censorship. Because Noah cannot handle the slightest bit of criticisms, he'll go as far as abusing the YouTube flagging system in order for it to be taken down before it gets any worse. And if anyone even dares to call him out, he'll not only lash out at you, but he'll block you for those who try to expose him and who have common sense, which shows that he refused to admit of his wrongdoings, as he can't accept reality and pretend like this never happened. Damage control. The final straw for his second deactivation account on DeviantArt, Noah uploaded, I would say, the most childish post I've ever seen. Now, I don't want to read all of this since it's pretty much self-explanatory of my points being given. Not to mention that I don't want to make this video too long, but I will be breaking down the ones that are underlined. I was left for no reason. No, you left because you have gathered enough backlashes and criticisms that you needed, as you couldn't take the heat any longer and acted like an immature brat the moment you got caught in 4K 1080p 60 frames per second. Many people blocking you. As I mentioned before, Your entire behavior and your reckless behavior overall is the main reason why people are blocking you, as you have not learned anything from your mistakes, which, by the way, isn't a mistake. In fact, there are lots of mistakes you made, but you don't want to admit that. And I did nothing wrong. I don't want to hear another drama battle to my channel, and I don't want to hear another person calling me a pedophile. Keep telling yourself that. As you keep saying that, it's going to happen regardless, since that infinite loop on your head is delaying the inevitable, as trolls will keep using it for advantage, just to get a rise out of you. I can't deal with this anymore. Well, here's a solution to that, Noah. Leave the internet. Problem solved. Oh, you saying that you don't want to leave then? Alright, well, good luck at getting called out constantly. I wish I want my friends back. Don't even get me started. We have literally put every opportunity of what you need to work on, but yet you have failed by showing us the complete downfalls that you put upon. Action speaks louder than words, Noah, and the actions that you've done will have consequences. If you don't get your shit together, that is.
Oh, fucking boo!
Grow the fuck up!
Downward spiral, downward spiral, downward spiral, downward spiral, downward spiral, downward spiral.
This is the part that I was gonna compare him to Asher Forge. So, short story for him, Asher is a known predator in Splatsource's Twitter scene who is interfering in a relationship with a 13-year-old despite being taken, while he himself is 18 at the time back in April 2021. Not to mention in later times that he's a compulsive liar and a manipulator, as he's trying his best to push off the evidence that is fake, and even goes as far as to twist it so people will just believe it. Noah is on the same wavelength as his bastard. Also, I just found it funny that Noah is putting flames at Mario Koopa for making threats at him. Now, I am in no way, shape, or form of defending Mario Koopa by all means, given that he's a shit human being in general. But let me ask you something, Noah. So, it's okay to lash out on Mario Koopa for his wrongdoings, but it's not okay for these people to lash out on your childish behavior? I just found that to be extremely hypocritical coming from you. I'm not saying that you're just as bad as him, but I just don't understand why calling out others when you yourself can't handle being called out as well. You know what I'm saying, right? Like, there has to be a certain limit to it. You've debunked every piece of advice that they gave you. And the last thing that you want to be doing is to telling people like Pinky Splat Girl to off herself, as she literally explained everything to help you out. And to make matters worse, you've done the same thing to a minor, which is not even the first time. Telling someone to off themselves is extremely foul and offensive to those who are going actual suicide. You could have easily traumatized someone by messing them up mentally from the symptoms like depression and anxiety. You have no empathy for anyone but yourself and those who got you back, since all you ever cared about was to just move on and just pretend like nothing happened. One good example of this is an anonymous user even puts everything in the bag, and hell, even defends of the actions that you've done during the whole online Valentine date incident, and by immediately throwing them under the bus just like that. It really just shows that you don't give a flying fuck on what other people think or even say about you, as you even told them to just ignore the situation or just to save your ass. Noah, we can't always babysit you all the time. The main reason why you're getting shit on so many people like us is because you're not reliable. And after that you blocked me, that you sent this messages to me, I think this speaks for itself that you haven't learned a single thing of what you've done. I think it's safe to say that Noah's chances of changing are slim to none, as he has not learned from any of his mistakes, getting himself into an illegal action, acting like an immature man-child if things didn't get in his way. Anyone who has common sense or even given him the slightest bit of criticism/advices are not welcome, as he refused to listen or even runs away from his problems instead of facing them like an adult. If anything, I think it's well justified that Noah does need to be held accountable for his actions. But at the end of the day, I highly doubt it, since, well, you know how the Splatoon community goes. Now, if Noah even tries to respond to this video, don't expect me to make a follow-up on him, since he'll basically feeding more evidence to add on his Google Drive. And by all means, this is not a cancellation of ItzNoahArc. As for me, well, I personally don't know about Noah in real life as much as the interviewer does, given that they have known each other for a very long time. But when it comes to online, Noah is just nothing but a complete millennial that just always wants to live under a rock. And I wanted this video to be a public reminder of what type of person Noah actually is, since he's very active on his accounts, and if anyone even tries to encounter him or contact him, by all means, please do not interact, just avoid him, or better yet, block him, because the last thing I wanted to do was to give him any more attention. But as of now, the damage has been done. So Noah, if you are watching this and you actually got that far, I'm really disgusted. Your very own actions are the real reason why these people who left you or cut ties with you. I could probably predict that you'll just end up one of these predators if you are not careful of what you post. Little to know of how you respond to it. I'm not going to tell you what to do anymore. If you want to be known as a freak who doesn't want to improve for the better, then that's your choice. However, don't come crying to me or anybody else that you have lost your friends and your supporters since you think that decision of yours is okay. My final verdict: Noah doesn't deserve another chance, since it's most likely that he'll fuck up yet again. End of story. Oh, and by the way, Noah, don't think you could take this video down so easily, because I have consent.
All things are according to plan.
As I want them to. I gotta say, making videos like this isn't really easy. It's gonna take a huge toll of my mental health in order to keep me going.
Say, I don't mean to be all pushy and all, but who do you think the next target will be getting exposed?
Who knows, Riella? I may not get everyone on my list, but I'll do what I can. I'm going to risk everything to make the Splatoon community a happier and safer environment for everyone.
Well then, good luck, brother. You're gonna need it.